Andrew Gaines is 6'5", 240 pounds, and at first glance, you might think you're looking at South Jersey's latest big-time football recruit. But with a 90-plus mile per hour fastball and a knee-buckling curve, Andrew has some of the nastiest stuff in South Jersey. Gaines recently wrapped up a wild recruiting process by announcing his commitment to attend Iona College, and the big righty talks to us about that and much more on this edition of JBS Generation Next. Welcome, everyone. Jersey Baseball Show's Generation Next. We're looking at many of the top high school baseball players in the state of New Jersey. We have one of them with us today. It's Andrew Gaines, St. Augustine, big right-hander, 6'5", 240, dominating presence on the mound. And big day, actually, yesterday for Andrew as he signed his letter of intent to play college baseball at Iona College in the MAAC up in New Rochelle, New York. And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. A pleasure. So this has been a crazy few months for you, obviously, culminating with the, this late offer with Iona and signing your letter of intent. And like I said, getting ready to play in an up and coming major conferences now. In the country. Why don't you kind of give us all the scoop on like kind of how things have gone since like the beginning of the summer and how you ended up at Iona and how excited you are to join Coach Burke's team. Obviously his first year as a head coach coming up this spring, then you'll be getting there next fall.
So like in the summer, my mechanics started to get really bad. So like I felt first of all, I got decommitted from Wake. That was like in July, and my mechanics were really bad. So I tried out this place called BPC. Probably a lot of people know it, and
we've heard of it. Yeah,
they're meant for like helping kids throw hard, and so I went there, and they ultimately like helped me understand my mechanics because everyone's mechanics are a little bit different. Just because like I'm a bigger guy, like they're all supposed to do the same thing, but they're a little bit different.
Yeah, so, but you being 6'5" and somebody else being 5'9", I mean, we're supposed to do the same thing, but we don't all move the same way.
Yeah. So they're still helping me they understand my body, and I feel like a lot of changes have definitely been happening. So they've helped me a lot. And then I switched my training as well, and now I'm training with CJ Appenzell or ATS. So they're also helping me become more mobile and more I've strengthened different parts of my body with going to them as well.
Yeah, so between Jay Gorman and Mike Adams now being back a little over the winter, and CJ, you're working with the best of the best. So that's pretty awesome and exciting, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting.
So Wake changes their situation a bit. You're kind of left with not really any sort of relationship there. You want to kind of things sort of changed over COVID. You probably want to be a little closer to home. Got to start the whole recruiting all over again and dealing with some injuries yourself, right?
Yeah.
At that point. So how did we end up at Iona, right? Kind of like a whole, fresh start. Like I said, program in a highly competitive conference. And I'm sure that your skill set and what you've done would really appeal to them. But how did we get to Iona?
So after I decommitted, I got on the phone with like a few coaches, and Iona came a little bit later. They were probably in September. So I was like talking to coaches, and I actually was like thinking about maybe like reclassing and be a 23. So I talked to some 23 coaches as well, and then I got a 23 offer. So, but the thing is, like I kind of wanted to go to college. So I was like I want because I want to grow. Like sure, staying back another year and going to college, going to play is cool, but I also want to grow up as well. So I want to go compete in college too. So I was waiting for like a 22 offer, and like that's right when I got hurt in like mid-August, and I couldn't throw till September, and then me ramping up and then shutting down right away didn't really make sense for me, and then taking a chance on getting injured again. So then I started talking to Coach Scamanico at Iona. We had like a couple long talks, and then like he called me. I think I remember like the exact time I was sitting in my car outside my house, and he's like, "I want you to come up to campus, and I want you to come check it out. Like we're really high on you." And like that's where I sort of like knew that like this might be like bigger than it actually is. So I go up to campus a few Wednesdays ago, and then like, I really loved it a lot. I went I went on the campus. All the kids on the team came up and shook my hand. I like the new facility, like the new business building, because I want to study business. That's really nice. The facilities are nice, and I like how it's smaller. So it's just like my high school, and like everything's like it's close to home. Like I get to go compete right away. Like I have another kid at my school committed there as well. So I feel like everything worked out, and the coaches like they really showed a lot of interest in me. Like that's like my thought. Like after decommitting, I really wanted to go somewhere I wanted to be, and where the coaches wanted me to be there too.
Yeah, and I would say not only that, it seems like you've got a good vibe, not just about baseball there and the direction that the program's gone, but the school itself.
Yeah.
And that's obviously very important. Now, you mentioned another guy on your team was going there. Why don't we give him a shout out real quick?
Josiah Ragsdale.
Yep. You two are very much alike as far as your playing abilities, right?
Oh, I mean, well, he's a little faster than me, and he's
A
in the
little bit.
outfield. Yeah. No, but we're cool. Like we talk about it all the time now. Like we're both going to Iona, and we're both like we're gonna have a really good time. So we're definitely excited for that to happen.
Josiah is going to be a future podcast guest himself. So
Really?
yeah, absolutely. So it's exciting that you guys are both going there. Now you have, speaking of, well, I would say future, but already on podcast guest, you got quite a team coming up in 2022, right? Ryan Taylor was our opening act with Jarrett Pekrowski here on our Generation Next series, as you know. But Ryan, and why don't you go through and tell us about some of the other guys that are hoping to win a state title this year?
So so both of our so our outfielder right now is Kyle Neary. He's going to Bryant. Josiah is going to Iona, and like we have a third spot ready to be filled by someone else. And then we have two middle infielders, Ryan Weingartner going to St. Joe's, Ryan Taylor going to UPenn. And then we have like a 23. He's probably going to play third base for us. His name is Marco Lavari. He's going to Old Dominion. We have another 23. He's a left-handed pitcher. He's going to Villanova. His name's CJ Fury. Then I'm going to Iona. We have an NJIT commit going to, or he's a senior. His name's Holden DeJong. We have another kid named Bryce. He's like a utility player for us. He's going to, I forget what it's called, but it's like I feel like it's a pretty good school. I forget what it's called, but and then our other catcher, he's going D2. He's going to Shepherd University in West Virginia. So I feel like we're pretty stacked right now. And then we have like a couple kids like still growing and still like getting better. But I feel like for me, I only played freshman, and then I went right to varsity baseball because freshman year I played freshman. I was a catcher, and then sophomore year was COVID, and then last year I was like last year was my first time at varsity. So I feel like we're definitely ahead in the game because a lot of the other schools lost their seniors, but we didn't. We lost definitely a big few, but I feel like we still have a lot more kids ready to go.
You were pretty junior dominated last year, though.
Yeah, we had a lot of juniors. We had we only had 3 seniors that started, but they're like Jackson's at Bryant.
Yeah.
Brody's at Rhode Island, and then Jack Peacock's doing well too. So
yeah, no, you had a small but talented senior class, and now loaded, and probably going to be the favorites, if not one of the favorites to win states this year. So how do we look at that? Is that, now that your college situation is settled, is it pure just motivation? Let's go crazy this winter and get ready to win states, and also kind of build that college body and mechanics and mindset? Is that kind of the approach right now?
Yeah, so I definitely knew I wanted to commit sooner rather than later. So I did, and after that, I already was committed before, so I sort of already had that feeling. So I felt like it wasn't really anything new, and I told myself just because I'm committed now doesn't mean anything. I want to have even bigger goals. So I feel like this offseason I'm definitely going to be grinding every day, and I feel like all my teammates are definitely going to be in the gym as well. So I feel like we're going to be prepared.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously mechanics and movement efficiency is probably going to be at the top of your list, getting, more and more efficient. Anything else that you want to work on in particular this off season?
Definitely like location and definitely location. And I do have like 3 pitches right now, but I'm like, since I have really big hands, I'm trying to like create like a cutter. So definitely location and a cutter. And then I do want my mentality to be up there. So I want my mental state to be really good, because it's like most of the game is mental. So I definitely want to be ahead of the game in that, just like to make sure like if like physically I'm off one day, just like I have my mental state in check.
Yeah, and obviously at the D1 level too. I mean, that's something that, you're not going to have your best stuff every day, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, the best pitchers are the ones who figure out a way to win when they don't.
Yeah.
What would you say is kind of the number one goal for spring then?
For spring, so last spring, like we started off, like our coach told us, like, sure, we're all gonna be individuals in the beginning, and like then we all hung out, like we all hung out one weekend, and we're all like really close. So I feel like we definitely have to grow as a team, even though we like all of us pretty much know each other. But I feel like growing as a team in the beginning and having like a full season, because we get to start in March. So those preseason games are definitely gonna help us. And last season we were playing like 4 games a week, so we were starting to get burnt out at the end of the season. So I feel like this season, like our biggest goal is definitely to take like each game at a time, like no matter how good they are, just to be able to like put in our all, just to be ready for the state championship and the playoffs.
Yeah, is it, to feel like there's a little more sense of like normalcy, right? I mean, I guess losing the entire sophomore year, except for if I don't know if you did played in the last dance or not. And then, having that like played a lot of games last year, but it seemed like the season like started and then it was over like all of a sudden, right? So
Yeah.
to be able to kind of go through a fall and now a winter and the spring, I mean, I'm sure that's something, especially this year, that's going to be really valuable.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing excited for it, and it's sort of like a different ramping up process too, because we're ramping up a little bit earlier. So I feel like we're all gonna be prepared, just because like we're all working hard. And so I work out like with a lot of kids. Like a few of the kids go to the same gym, and a lot of the kids go to BPC. So we're all like working out already. So I feel like we're gonna be going well together in the beginning. So
So we see you on the mound. We see this giant right-handers. Obviously got some size to you. Was football ever like a part of the background, and for how long? And if it was, is it something that you kind of miss a little bit?
yeah, so I started playing football freshman year. And like I was a quarterback. It was like my first year. I wasn't too good, but my sophomore year, when I was still at Cherokee, like I grew into it, and I played for the JV team, and like I was the backup on varsity. But I feel like I grew as a lot as a player, and I do miss it a lot. Like I wish I still played, but at one point you got to realize that if you want to go to college, you're gonna have to go to college for something that you're really good at. Like, which I still feel I can go to colleges for football, but I feel like it's like too late now. But I definitely miss it a lot. So
You miss it, but is your heart in baseball at this point?
yeah, definitely is. Yeah.
No, was basketball ever a shot, like a power forward kind of, laying some
Like my
guys out on
friends, like when we
screens?
play some pickup, they do call me Dennis Rodman. But other than that, like when I played a little bit when I was like at 4th and 5th grade, but it was fun, but it just wasn't what I wanted.
No, no, just more. I was thinking more just knocking some guys over and getting some rebounds and
Yeah.
knocking them over, trying to set screens on them and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I wasn't as big though. Like I was tall, but I was skinny. And it was
oh,
just like 2 years ago or sophomore year, I was like 190, and I'm like 250. So I definitely
so you
grew a
got
little bit.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Do you feel like that? So you feel like that adds something on the mound? I mean, you feel like you're just that much more physically dominating and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I do feel that, but then again, like I feel like as a big guy, I definitely move well.
Yeah.
Like can feel my weight. I'm starting to like grow into my body more. So I'm definitely I feel good on the mound. So I don't really feel like the weight's like a problem.
Um, Proudest moment on the field since you've in your career.
Proudest moment on the field. Um, I felt from my standpoint or from like others.
No, either way.
Um, I felt like my first like appearance for St. Augustine was against Jackson Memorial. It was like our second game of the year.
Hmm.
And Jackson started the game. Like I told my coach Nay in the beginning of the season, like I wanted to be that guy that you can count on to come in and save the game. So Jackson goes hard for 4 innings, lets up like 3 runs, a few hits. Like he did really good. And then I was supposed to pitch the next day, but they were like, go warm up. So I rip some ply balls in the fence and I get on the mound. And like I just go in there and like I just dominate for 3 innings. And I sort of like I don't really show my emotion on the mound. I started screaming at the other kids and I got really hyped up because like it was my first time being in that situation.
Something to prove too, right?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
new
definitely something to prove.
teammates.
Yeah, so I feel like I proved myself and like we ended up walking off. So it was definitely a big game for us. I feel like it was a statement game, right? Like because we always play them right in the beginning of the year. So
Yeah, it's
that was
a,
a big game.
quite a way to open up every year, right? I mean, that's pretty awesome, and like I said, your first game on a new school on a new team. It's you know kind of makes it that much. You prove you belong,
Yeah.
So no, that's awesome. Something that we don't know about Andrew Gaines.
Um, I'm really into God. I feel like since like I transferred to St. Augustine, like I talked to a couple of the priests, but I like one of the priests, Father Devlin, like I definitely talked to him a lot about it. And I've got to grow with God in April. I'm actually getting my first communion and my confirmation. So
Well,
I'm really
congrats,
excited for
yeah,
that. Thank you.
congratulations. Is that something that hasn't always been that way? You kind of evolved while you've been in high school, or
So I was baptized. So my dad's Catholic and my mom's Jewish. So I was baptized when I was a baby, and I went to Hebrew school for a little bit, but I didn't really like Hebrew school. And then once I got to St. Augustine as a sophomore, I started to get into starting to read the Bible. But now I feel like people think like going and partying is fun. Like I like partying, it's fun, but I feel like people like want like they feel like, oh, they're just waiting for the weekend every single weekend. But I feel like you can't be waiting for the weekend if you have to live like 5 days of the week first. So I feel like I want something to fulfill me. That's not something I need to go get every single time. So I feel like God like fulfills me.
yeah, you get 70% of your life you're just kind of passing by if you're only worried about Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Um, Favorite uh pregame meal.
A bang energy.
I
Yeah. So we
don't know what diet that counts as a pregame meal, but
yeah, or no, I would get it's called like these waffle stingers from Wawa. So
okay.
I got a couple of those, but like before every game, I shotgun a bang. And it started like our first one of our first scrimmages, like I would shotgun a bang, and I've always done it. And, like right before the state championship, I put them like all together. I made an edit, and like I just like sent it to our group chat. So I feel like that's definitely gonna happen senior year too, or like in the spring as well. But that was just, like, fun.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't stop that now.
yeah.
Um, Pregame or music list, or what would you prefer to, if you were in charge of the pregame or music?
I definitely like rap, but like I like some rock in there too, like some Red Hot Chili Peppers. I feel like my favorite rock song is like "Can't Stop." So, or my rock song. But I like rap or rock, like anything that gets me hyped up.
Excellent, excellent. Um, it's been an interesting road for you, obviously, from the start of high school to now. If you could tell going into ninth grade, Andrew, gains something, that you kind of learned along the way? It can be that or something that you would want to tell younger guys now that you're kind of coming to the end of high school. What would that be?
I feel like everyone's situation is different. So like no matter like what other people say, like they don't know what you've been through, like what you're going through. So I feel like they don't understand. Like other people might not understand like what you want to like accomplish in life. So I feel like what other people's opinions, like you like sure, like like listen to them to see if they might help you, but it doesn't really matter like what they say about you, like if they're like trash talking you, like because I feel like everyone has a different purpose of what they want to do.
Especially after middle school, where everybody worries what everybody else is thinking of them, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
something good to know that it really doesn't matter. It's kind of what you think of yourself.
Yeah, and like after high school, like no one cares about like popularity.
That's
And I
right.
think at my school, like there's not really like a popular like group because everyone's like came from different towns. So it's not like everyone's from the same town. So like,
Yeah,
everyone's like pretty cool with everyone in my school.
yeah. Favorite professional team, any sport?
Um, I don't really follow teams, but I do like Tom Brady. I do like Tom Brady. Because my dad was born in Michigan and we like the Wolverines. So
Okay.
I
All right.
definitely follow him. I just like him because he like proves everyone wrong.
Still, he's
Yeah.
gonna. All right. So he's what, 45 now?
44.
44. All right. I'll let you guess here. He's gonna play till he's how old?
Um, I don't know. He's still like one of the best in the league. Right
That's
now,
what I'm
he's the best.
saying.
He's the most passing touchdowns, like passing yards. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like until he gets injured again.
I was saying,
Whenever,
I think he's playing until 50 if his body lets him.
yeah, he's like he might not be the biggest guy, but he can read defenses so well and like fit balls in the spots others can't. So
Yeah, it's crazy. He won the Super. Took him 1 year to turn Tampa Bay around.
I know that's crazy. Like how like people say like, oh, Belichick's like so good. Like sure, Tom Brady like might have had like a lot of receiving core on that team, but still like he did like he was a part of it for 1 year and still did it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that leadership is insane. Um, but what's one thing that you want to work on the field? Before you go off to college.
Um, I feel like my competitiveness. I feel like I can like I'm already competitive, but I feel like I can be more competitive, like with pitch location and like understanding the count. Because I feel like if you get ahead in the count, like you can go on like your depth of your pitches and what you want to do. So I feel like definitely being more competitive on the mound would definitely help me.
Excellent.
Oh, and
I
my PFPs. I need to get a little bit better at fielding the ball.
yeah, you do, especially we don't want to. Maybe we should cut this out so teams aren't bunting on you all the time.
Yeah.
Andrew, I appreciate it. Certainly thrilled to see how everything worked out for you. It's exciting to see what you guys are going to accomplish this year in high school, and then as we said at the beginning, getting to take that next step with Josiah. Team, high school teammates going off to college together. That's always really cool. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.